Welcome to This Explainer. If you've ever met someone whose very words seem to just crackle with electricity, someone who literally commands a room the second they open their mouth and leaves this absolutely lasting impression, well, you have likely encountered the exact dynamic we're breaking down today. We're exploring a deeply fascinating astrological placement where raw, unbridled action crashes headfirst into the human mind. We are looking at Mars in the third house, a placement that crafts what we call the bold orator.
Okay, let's dive into this central mystery. What exactly happens when the instinct for immediate, urgent action just bypasses our normal social filters and directly fuels our speech? Well, it creates a massive double-edged sword of a personality. On one hand, you get a phenomenally powerful communicator, but on the other hand, you get a highly reactive force of nature. So in this explainer, we're going to unpack exactly how this dynamic plays out, from its greatest advantages to its absolute sharpest pitfalls.
Part 1. The foundation. Action meets the mind. Let's look at the two core ingredients we're working with here. The third house governs the realm of the mind in its most practical sense, right? So your speech, your thinking patterns, how you learn, your relationships with your siblings, and just your everyday interactions. Now, imagine injecting Mars into that space. Mars represents energy, profound courage, and a deep, deep sense of urgency. When you put the planet of urgency into the house of everyday communication, the result is an expression that becomes exceptionally sharp and inherently impulsive. It's kind of like having a sports car engine connected directly to your vocal cords. Normally, for most of us, there's a clear separation between thought, that internal mental processing, and action. We pause, we think. But for someone with Mars in the third house, action follows thought so rapidly that the two entirely blur together. They don't just think, they speak out confidently without any hesitation. They are highly likely to express their opinions way before fully considering how those words are going to be received by the people around them. Actually, scratch that. It's not even that the filter is gone. It's that it's been completely replaced by pure velocity.
Part 2. The superpower, speed, confidence, and career. Words become direct. Opinions become strong. And because of this, their communication is quite literally impossible to ignore. Honestly, it doesn't even matter if they're just engaging in a casual, everyday conversation over coffee, navigating a highly heated debate, or putting their thoughts down in written expression. The boldness of their delivery just commands attention. They speak quickly, they speak confidently, and they basically force the world to listen. And this brilliantly illustrates why these individuals naturally gravitate toward and completely dominate certain professional arenas. Communication, sales, media, marketing, public speaking, writing, journalism, and advocacy. These are fast-paced environments that absolutely require courage, initiative, and razor-sharp, quick decision-making. In these fields, the ability to rapidly process information and immediately articulate a strong, persuasive position isn't just helpful, it's the defining trait of success. They thrive where others hesitate. While everyone else in the boardroom is still trying to form a thought, they've already delivered the winning pitch.
Part 3. The friction swords in daily interactions.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is seeing what happens when this incredibly fast-moving mind encounters everyday obstacles. Misinformation, slow thinkers, unfairness, or opposing viewpoints, these aren't just minor annoyances for them. For Mars in the third house, they are battlegrounds. Their reaction is immediate. Arguments, intense impatience, and this fierce desire to defend their personal beliefs. They have near-zero tolerance for repetitive explanations, and they will often refuse to compromise, even when backing down might logically be the much easier path. And this combative energy doesn't just stay in the boardroom or on the debate stage. It starts right at home. Because the third house also rules siblings. Family life is deeply impacted by this. Relationships with brothers and sisters are frequently marked by intense competition, rivalry, and incredibly strong opinions, often turning a casual game of Monopoly into an absolute war zone. However, this isn't just pointless arguing. This specific friction acts as a crucial catalyst. It's literally the training ground that encourages their early personal growth, teaching them how to spar intellectually.
Part 4. The mastery, wielding the power. Let's move to and see how this builds across a lifetime, because this energy definitely evolves. We start at step 1 with that raw, impulsive, argumentative mental energy we've been talking about. But the real growth happens in step 2, where they learn to channel that mental energy into constructive expression. They stop just reacting to slow thinkers and they start strategizing. And when that happens, they reach step 3, transforming from a reactive arguer into a figure of highly influential leadership and persuasion. They essentially learn to aim the weapon rather than just swinging it wildly, you know? Over time, they arrive at this really profound realization. True strength in communication comes not only from speaking boldly, but from knowing when silence carries more power than words. The absolute greatest challenge and the ultimate victory for Mars in the third house is the discipline of the pause. It is learning when to let that immediate reaction go unsaid, recognizing that holding back can actually be the most commanding move on the board. So the crucial point is this. Bold communication isn't just about the volume or the speed of your words, it's about the strategic control of your mental fire. Whether you personally have this placement or you're just trying to navigate a world full of fast talkers, mastering the space between thought and action is everything. Are you ready to wield the power of the pause? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll see you next time.